step out from the 5 spot and knock down threes, which he does about 38% of the time, but so much of the offense runs through him. An excellent passer, had a triple-double earlier this season.
There were some questions about just how effective he would be after missing all of last season, but Rick Mast, a double-double and a triple-double already. A lot for Oklahoma head coach Porter Moser to handle for sure. Porter Moser has not coached in the Big Ten, but he spent 10 seasons as the head coach of Loyola Chicago, right in the Big Ten's backyard. Still has a condo in Chicago. He's a die-hard Cubs fan. Looking forward to this matchup tonight as a rivalry is renewed between Oklahoma and Nebraska. Nebraska in the crimson and Oklahoma in the scarlet. We are underway. Darion Reed on the ball right now for the Sooners. Swung around to Brown, looking for Pack, who's got over 1,700 points in his college career. Pack, a gifted three-point shooter, nothing but net to begin the ball game.
Nice job of flipping the floor with the pass, and that's a very difficult shot by Pack because Butagel was coming out there hands high. Well done by the transfer.
Pack just 5'10", but has scored at every stop in his college basketball journey. Rink Mast off the mark, and Tay Davis, who's gobbled up a lot of rebounds for Oklahoma to start the season, does so right there and brings it up the floor. Now Reed with the right hand, too strong off glass. Rebound eventually picked up by Bryce Sandfort, the former Iowa Hawkeye, his first season in Lincoln.
And you can tell, point of emphasis for Oklahoma, getting back in transition. That's something that Nebraska has excelled at in transition, knocking down threes.
Sam Hoiberg, the coach's son, the pass down to Rink Mast. Low block blocked by Mohamed Wagee. And a good start for OU. Davis with the Euro step. Wow, look at that big man move. 5-0 start for Oklahoma on the road. Yes, this is a neutral site by the book, but it is probably 97% Nebraska fans in the house tonight.
And boy, are the Sooners locked in defensively.
Sandfort for three, short. And the rebound tipped to Nigel Pack. That was a point of emphasis for Oklahoma in shoot-around today. Nebraska loves to shoot the three. Porter Moser wants his team to be ready for long rebounds. Fred Hoiberg in his 7th season as Nebraska's head coach. He's now been the head coach for the Cornhuskers longer than he was the head coach for his alma mater, the Iowa State Cyclones. And he likes this team as far as getting back to the identity that got them to the NCAA tournament in 2024.
Now they added Sanford through the transfer portal, but getting two guys back in different ways. We talked about Rink Mast coming back after an injury. Jamarcus Lawrence, their starting guard, was on that team 2 seasons ago that went to the NCAA tournament, then transferred to Rhode Island, and then came back.
There and back again in the case of Jamarcus Lawrence. A couple of free throws for Xavier Brown, the junior transfer from St. Joseph's. He's gotten into double figures in scoring in every game to start his Oklahoma career.
And he's money from the foul line thus far in Norman. Was 12 of 13 prior to making those 2.
So Nebraska looking for its lid lifter here. 4th time Nebraska has played here at the Sanford Pentagon. They're 2-1 all time. Hoiberg underneath, it's tipped and out of bounds. Last touched by Wagee and OU.
Chris, I've really been impressed here in the early 3 or 4 possessions with Oklahoma defensively, not just in their movement of personnel, but we're close enough here to the floor. Their communication has been stellar. They're shifting guys off. They're talking on the cuts. Nothing easy so far for Nebraska offensively.
Oklahoma 2-1 on the season, but they've already had a big-time litmus test as Mast is off the mark. They took on Gonzaga in Spokane, lost the game by 15, but they've had an early test to see where they're at against a high-caliber non-conference opponent. This is Nebraska's first such test of the season. Brown for 3 for OU. Xavier Brown with 5, and how about this, a 10-0 start for Oklahoma as Sandfort ends that, a triple for Nebraska. That gets the crowd back into it. Wagee bottling the handle a little bit. Darion Reed, the shot fake. Here's Tay Davis. Nebraska's bench wanted to travel. Instead, Reed off the mark from three.
And that's where you want Reed if you are Nebraska defensively. Reed so athletic, but has struggled so far shooting the three this year, 14%.
Sanford for three. He's got all six for the Huskers.
And there was just a breakdown in communication. That pin down on the near side of the floor, Chris. Oklahoma done a very good job of talking him through, but they set the screen. Well done in terms of executing shoulder to shoulder coming off for that wide open look.
Assist to Sam Hoiberg, averaging 4 assists per game through the first 3 for Nebraska. Nearly a takeaway. Davis with under 10 on the shot clock. Alley-oop inbound to Reed, and a foul is called. Oklahoma wants a goaltend.
I think they're going to get it too. Yeah.
Yes, you're right. The 2 points for Darion Reed. And then, as you can see, Jamarcus Lawrence makes contact with his head on the block attempt. That's the second already personal foul, that is, on Jamarcus Lawrence. Oklahoma is going to get a substitution in as Reed waits for his lone free throw attempt. Nebraska's going to sub as well. There's junior, former walk-on, Cale Jacobson, earned a scholarship going into this season. Reed money at the free throw line.
And that was the right call in terms of a goaltend. Unfortunately for Buchengel, he came over. I don't think that thing was going in, but it was well above the cylinder. You got to kind of let it go. The officials made the right call in that situation, but I don't think it was going in because it was deflected on the initial offering.
Well, here's Buchengel on the other end for Nebraska. Berke Buchengel, the native of Turkey, draws the foul and gets caught up with his teammate Sanford on the ground. They untie that pretzel, and we'll be back after this early lead for Oklahoma. Oklahoma and Nebraska meet for the 189th time in their storied rivalry. Before the Big 12, there was the Big 8. Before that, the Big 7. And then the Big 6, formed in 1928-29. Oklahoma and Nebraska, 2 charter members of the Big 6. And for 90 years, they were conference rivals, Sean, until Nebraska departed for the Big 10 in 2011.
And then just to show you that I have nothing else going on in my life, the 7th team would have been Oklahoma State. They've transferred in as Oklahoma A&M. They won a couple of national titles under Coach Henry Iba and Bob Curlin. And then the 8th team would have been Colorado. So,
wow,
a lot of tradition.
You're just encyclopedic in your knowledge, Sean.
There better be something in this giant cranium.
Berke Buchengel knocks down a couple of free throws for Nebraska, and it's a 5-point lead for Oklahoma. Impressive start for the Sooners. Head coach Porter Moser still going largely with his starters. That's the one exception right there, Jeff Wonkwo, who's off the mark from 3. Offensive rebound, Oklahoma. Tay Davis too strong. And it's out of bounds, and it stays with Oklahoma. And a good start for Oklahoma on the glass especially. And
this is a team in Oklahoma. They will pound the offensive window, especially Tay Davis. He's averaging a double-double, Chris. 6 of those boards per game on the offensive window. Last time out, Tay Davis with 11 offensive rebounds. So if you are wearing a red jersey for Nebraska, you have to find a white jersey and not allow yourself to be pushed under the rim, make body contact, and root them out.
11 offensive rebounds for Tay Davis was a program best for at least 30 years in Oklahoma history. Koala Talk is off the mark there. And here comes Nebraska trying to make this a single possession game. So much of Nebraska's offense runs through number 51 in red, Rick Mast. And a kick ball is called.
And we set that to 20 here.
Sideline inbounds for Sam Hoiberg, the senior. who's playing with the ball in his hand more than he has at any other point in his career. Stuffs the stat sheet with rebounds, assists, and steals.
Averaging 7 boards a game from the guard position.
Generously listed at 6 foot. Here's Mast covered up by Wagee. Underneath, not enough English. Buchtengel, what a rebound. And the shot clock did not reset. So Buchtengel had to hurry a shot off. It's tipped out of bounds. Nebraska gets back defensively in transition. Braden Frager checks into the game for Nebraska, redshirt freshman. Sat out all of last season.
A really impressive performance in the season opener for the Cornhuskers against West Georgia.
Here is Dayton Forsyth. Around it goes to Atak. A little bit strong. Rebound pulled in by Wagee. A foul is called. Huskers wanted to travel. Instead, Frager, just off the bench, picks up the foul.
And how about the job by Wagee? Watch what he does. They do a pretty good job of getting a body on him, but he takes a step back. He doesn't die on the block out. If he doesn't make that extra effort to step away from the screen out, he's not going to be able to make that play. And then he completed it by going up strong with 2 hands. Well done by that young man.
So Wagee gets a deserved rest 5.5 minutes into the game. And he battled foul trouble against Gonzaga as Forsyth steps out of bounds for Oklahoma. And if you talk to head coach Porter Moser, that was a big part of the reason why Gonzaga was able to take control of that game, because they did not have the rebounding and rim protection of Wagee. This is turning into a physical game. Sanford hits the deck and a foul on Oklahoma. It's on Xavier Brown.
Keep an eye with how aggressively Oklahoma is coming off the top of those curl cuts. Let's see if a red jersey puts the foot in the floor once they hit the 3-point line and maybe make a dive cut and force Oklahoma to defend something going to the rim here, kind of get them out of their defensive comfort level.
Wonkwo sits. Hoiberg drives Forsyth. Hoiberg in the lane, left hand. And it kind of rolled off his hand, and a foul called on Nebraska.
Tell you what, that was a nice job by Forsyth, because Nebraska inverted things offensively. They put Hoiberg down there. He maintains verticality, forces him to go to the offhand fading away. Really well done by Forsyth of answering the defensive call. They were trying to isolate him.
Forsyth was the #1 recruit in the state of Oklahoma 2 years ago out of Dale High School. Averaged 12 minutes per game as a freshman last year. Those minutes have jumped up to 19 per off the bench this season. Here he is. Kick out. Pack for 3.
Man, that was reptilian in its coldness.
You don't have to bite your tongue, partner. Woo. I saw your reaction there as that one rolled in. Pack's got 6. Oklahoma doubling up Nebraska, and Sanford with the flush. He's got 8 of Nebraska's 10.
And because he knocked down a couple of threes, they didn't close out completely under control, and he was able to make them pay.
Sanford with the rebound there. The guy's doing everything for Nebraska.
Well, they've got a mismatch down low. Pack is on Buchtengel. They haven't found it yet. Good job of switching out.
Sanford, his first season as a starter, he was Iowa's 6th man last season with older brother Peyton. And my goodness, he's looking like he's first team all Big Ten right now. A bucket and a foul.
Excellent use of the shot fake. A couple possessions ago, right there, really well done. You freeze the defender. He leaves his feet. Here, little rip through. Able to get to the left hand, and because he knocked down those 2 threes early, they're really cognizant of taking it away, and just a rare breakdown in terms of communication so far defensively by Oklahoma leads to the opportunity at the rim for the transfer from Iowa.
That's just tonight. 10 points, 4 of 5 from the floor, a couple of trays. He's gotten off to a great start this season, a 20-point performance already as a Husker. And he's well on his way to another one of those, 11 points already. Now his teammates have to get going offensively.
And he's shooting about 38% from behind the arc so far in his time in Nebraska, actually north of 40%.
Attack for three. Now, Attack is 6'9", and Porter Moser says he could very well be the team's best three-point shooter.
Well, he's certainly not shy because his minutes haven't been that much here in the early going, but he has gotten his opportunity.
Now Jacobson to the rack and the lay-in.
Nice change of pace by Jacobson. They thought he was going to pull that dribble out and kick it out, but that hesitation got the defender out of his stance, allowing him to turn the corner.
Attack inside. Guarded by Jared Garcia, number 15, into the game for the first time for Nebraska. Attack. It's pulled in by Wagee. Second chance effort for Mo Wagee.
This is a really good job again of putting Mast underneath the rim, and then he doesn't try to snatch it with one hand. Wagee in both of these last situations has gone up with two hands.
Three ball, Connor Essegian for Nebraska.
Good sign for Nebraska because last time out, Essegian was 0 of 5 from the floor overall, 0 of 3 from deep. Got it going last year. Averaged 11 points per ball game, 38% from behind the arc a season ago.
What a ball game now, Sean. Wagee. What a nifty bounce pass to Tay Davis. Four for Davis, but all the credit in the world to Wagee there. Here's Essegian. Nice in, kicks out. Garcia, baseline.
Oh, nice.
Mast. What a slip pass from Garcia.
Really well done by Garcia of keeping his dribble alive, but it was a small thing, but an important thing. Mast got his defender up the line, got his hip on, and that created the passing angle. Well done.
Now Pack with a rack attack.
See why this guy scored 1,700 points in his stops. He's an all Big 12 performer at Kansas State that was a member of the Final Four team with Miami a couple seasons ago.
Pass for three. Things are heating up here in the Pentagon. Sooners by 2. Pack for three. Off the mark, long rebound. Attack's got it. Tied up with Essegian. They call a foul on Essegian. Sort that out when we come back.
Yeah, we'll work it out when we come back. But before we leave, this has been an entertaining game to start. Sanford able to get it going from behind the arc, a shot fake, able to get to lane and create. And then Attack says, I'll take all three of those. We'll see you back here in Sioux Falls.
Connor Essegian was whistled for a personal foul going into that timeout. So Oklahoma ball as we get back to the action here. They reviewed a three-point attempt by Kowal Attack from earlier in the game and maintained that it was a three-pointer as opposed to a foot-on-the-line two-pointer. So the score remains 25-23 Oklahoma, and that's Attack for two.
Well, that was a pretty good defensive sequence by Nebraska, communicating and moving, but Attack showing some offensive versatility there.
Essegian, that's well short.
Attack got it, got a piece.
Attack very long at 6'9". And right back the other way, Nigel Pack continuing to assault the rim inside.
And something to keep an eye on, Sam Hoiberg came up a little gimpy right now.
The foul on Hoiberg. Nigel Pack a chance to complete a three-point play. Pack already into double figures as Hoiberg trying to gather himself. $11 for Pack. He's hit double figures in all 4 games as a Sooner. 6th-year college basketball player, closing in on 2,000 career points. Hoiberg. Buyuk Tingel hangs on. 7 to shoot for Asijan. Wide left, and Reed the long rebound.
Boy, no penetration of the three-point arc there by Nebraska. Oklahoma took them out of completely what they wanted to do.
And with that shot by Dayton Forsythe, the Sooners have made 6 of 7. They are red hot right now in the lead back to 10.
And that caps a quick 8-0 run. It was 25-23, and nice job of running the floor, spacing the extra pass, and Forsythe can do that. You mentioned big-time scorer in high school, averaged about 4 points a game a year ago, but he can get it going. Had 25 against Ole Miss toward the end of the regular season last year.
First player since Trey Young to be named State Player of the Year as a junior in high school. You know, for Oklahoma, this team, after losing by 15 to Gonzaga, is still trying to put your finger on how good this team is. So many new players from an NCAA tournament team a year ago, but this has been a great start.
Well, in Oklahoma, look, obviously they weren't pleased with the loss to Gonzaga, but Gonzaga is good. I mean, they took it to Creighton as well. That's a team up in Spokane that has legitimate Final Four aspirations.
Oklahoma's last Final Four was 2016. They've been to 5 in program history. Nebraska, of course, still hunting its first win in the NCAA tournament.
Oklahoma's just been so good defensively here.
Bayuk-Tingel with a mismatch, however. And a foul is called. Nigel Pack got matched up with the 6'10 forward for Nebraska.
But a nice recognition defensively by Oklahoma, to your point, Chris. Pack was completely outsized down there, but rather than leave him on an island, you had that double team that came down there to force him to give it up.
Mo McGee picks up the foul, his first. Hoiberg inbounds, looking for Sanford. It goes to Mast instead. Hoiberg to the free throw line, looking for Mast again.
Well, how about the job Brown did pushing Mast out?
Brown just a 6'2 guard. Here's Mast backing him down, and a foul is called. And it's on Nigel Pack, his first. That's the 5th team foul on Oklahoma. So Nebraska working towards the bonus here. Sanford for 3. Wrong side of the nylon, and it's Oklahoma ball. It's an Oklahoma team that returned 0 of their 5 starters from last year's NCAA tournament team that got knocked out in the first round. 14 SEC teams made the NCAA tournament last year, and Dayton Forsythe filling it up with his second 3 of the game.
He made his impact known defensively. They tried to isolate him a few possessions ago with Hoiberg. He responded, and so far, he's also answered the call offensively.
Bayuk-Tingel backing down Brown, and he slips around him for the deuce.
And if you are Nebraska, you have to continue to probe until you find those mismatches, because some of those switches, that's about the 4th or 5th time we've seen a perimeter player matched up on a post player defensively.
And on the other end, Bayuk-Tingel just trucked Darion Reed of Oklahoma. First personal on Bayuk-Tingel, and Oklahoma up double digits.
Those first 2 gentlemen, I think, are kind of a microcosm of what we're seeing in college basketball. You had Rodney Rice, to your point, transferred into conference from Maryland, and then Wesley Yates started at Washington, was at USC last year, then made the return up to Seattle, and Rick Mast having him back. Speaking of return, very, very important for what Nebraska wants to do, not just here tonight, but throughout the course of the year.
And speaking of triple doubles, the third in Nebraska program history, and he's got an additional double-double this season as well. One more free throw for Reed, and it rattles in. And Nebraska trying to get off the schneid here. It's a 13-2 run for Oklahoma over the last 3 minutes. It was 25-23 Oklahoma at one point. Here's Mast, guarded by Wagee, and Wagee draws the foul. The foul is on Wagee, his second.
And a nice job by Wagee initially defensively, kind of pushed Mast into that short corner, but then Nebraska responded with an outstanding play as well. Look, there's not another red jersey around. They isolate that side of the floor, and because Mast can put the ball on the deck, you've got Wagee, who's played really well so far on an island defensively. That's not necessarily his area of comfort. Nebraska able to probe it.
Mast was third team All Big Ten 2 years ago. This is his 7th season in college basketball. Graduated with a bachelor's degree from Bradley University, working on a master's here at Nebraska. Had regenerative cartilage surgery on his knee in May of 2024. Kept him out for a full 12 months before he could resume any kind of on-court action. Nigel Pack with a friendly roll. He's got 13. Mast guarded by Davis now. Not the right angle, and the rebound to Reed. Pack around Bayuktin-Gel. And Reed wasn't quite ready for the alley-oop. The foul is called on Nebraska.
Nigel Pack showing some savvy there. He knocked down a couple of threes. They wanted to run him off the line. If you are Nebraska defensively, at least you didn't give up a three. You did kind of run him off the line, make him hit a tough two, and he has hit a number of those so far in his collegiate career.
So he's crossed over the 1,800 point mark today already. And after the foul on Price Sandfort of Nebraska, Reed back at the free throw line. Oklahoma was a very good free throw shooting team last year for Porter Moser. They had the top free throw percentage in program history last year, and even with the reconstructed roster this year, they've not missed so far tonight at the strike.
And 78% coming into the ball game as a squad.
Jamarcus Lawrence back into the game, number 10. Bayuktin-Gel spins on Pack and dunks it home. Now, Nebraska's been able to set up more of those mismatches of late.
And if you are Bayuktin-Gel, you have to recognize that's about the 4th time that Pack has been caught on him. You can't hesitate. Just turn and go right to the rim. Force him to make a decision.
Forsythe puts it home.
That defensive play, when they tried to isolate him, I think lit a fire under Forsythe, because he has been giving tremendous minutes since that period he checked in.
Nebraska looking for a mismatch. The foul is called on Reed. Reed's first.
Nice job. They understand Forsythe is out there to knock down threes. He's done it a couple times. He recognizes it as well. They don't take away the baseline. Forsythe able to turn the corner, and the rotation was a little tardy.
Forsythe was a three-peat state champion in high school. As we mentioned, Dale High in Oklahoma. Hoiberg at the free throw line for Nebraska. It was nice to see Sam Hoiberg stuff the box score like he did against Maryland Eastern Shore in Nebraska's last game with 18 points. He does so much to affect the game beyond the box score that he got involved in a big way in Nebraska's last game. That was cool to see. 14-point lead for Oklahoma. Forsythe almost dragged the pivot foot. Reed off the mark. Buchtel the board.
And that's where you want Reed if you're Nebraska defensively. 14% so far from 3 on the year.
Sanford, too strong. And it stays with Nebraska.
I think someone just got tossed. I think you're going to see a fan tossed.
Well, he's not full mast anymore.
Yep.
Half mast.
Yes.
It is an intimate setting here at the Sanford Pentagon. Capacity under 3,500. Much smaller than the home arenas of both of these programs. There's Buchtel inside.
And you have to continue to exploit that mismatch. Until Oklahoma makes a different decision defensively, you have to continue to find Buchtel, and you have to, if you're Buchtel, you have to continue to demand the basketball.
Alley-oop, Darion Reed. They don't want him at the three-point line. They want him right there. Reed has got 9 points, and Hoiberg with his first bucket from the floor.
Now, what these attacks at the rim may do for the end of this first half and maybe into the second, create some three-point shooting opportunities, because they're really making a concerted effort to take away those threes, of which Nebraska hits about 11 per ball game.
Longbow draws the foul. Buchtel picks up his second. Longbow's going to the foul line. Battling a hamstring strain coming into this game. Went through shoot-around early this afternoon, but was considered a game-time decision. That's Oklahoma's first miss from the free throw line tonight.
Yeah, Longbow about a 40% shooter so far in the early going. Nice.
Sanford. How did that develop?
They were worried, again, about taking away the three. You saw the defender go all the way over the top. Mass faked the handoff. That took the defender with him. And then Mass showing you his basketball savvy, waiting for the traffic to clear. They're worried about the three-point shot. They fake the handoff. Defender gets caught on the hip of Mass, leads the recipient right to the rim. Difficult matchup because of his ability to knock down threes, and you can see he's getting more comfortable creating opportunities off the dribble.
They'll be calling it the Sanford Pentagon before long.
Uh-oh.
Keeps this up.
That might cost a lot of money.
Well, Nebraska down 10. A great night for Sanford with 13. But Xavier Brown in Oklahoma shooting very well from deep.
How about that execution coming out of the dead ball? They collapse the defense, and then they allow Brown to fill in behind.
Brown's got 8, and an Oklahoma foul on their defensive side of the floor. Atak sits for Oklahoma. Forsythe back into the game. Lobbed into Hoiberg. And another foul called on Forsythe this time. That's his first. Coming up, stay tuned for the State Farm halftime report. We'll send it to our Chicago studios to get you caught up on a busy day of Big Ten football. Plus, Sean and I will recap the first half here in Sioux Falls. Yes, it was a busy day of football in the Big Ten, but a day that did not include the Nebraska Cornhuskers. They are on a bye this weekend. So all eyes from Lincoln up north here in Sioux Falls on this matchup involving the basketball team. And the women will be here tomorrow. Tay Davis lost the handle. Hoiberg picks it up. Cale Jacobson Hoiberg drives Forsythe.
Good job by Forsythe of moving his feet.
Sanford, it rims out.
But that's the second time that Forsythe has answered the call defensively.
Pack, shot fake, 2 ball. Tipped out to Pack. Cut off by Mast, and he loses it out of bounds. Nebraska ball.
The transition defense, with maybe 1 or 2 exceptions for Oklahoma today, has been fantastic. And that is a credit to the coaching staff and these guys. Remember, when we were at shoot-around today, that was a point of emphasis, not just in terms of going back and defending the rim, but defending the three-point line, because so many of the threes from Nebraska in the early part of this season have come in transition, and they have been negated in that part of their game so far.
Sanford sets the feed, and when you do that, it's dangerous.
Especially if you're Oklahoma defensively, because you also have the Sejan out there, and you have to kind of make a decision. All right, do we go over the top and then allow the flare, or do we aggressively attack?
Shooters on the floor for Nebraska, down 10 late in the first half. And Reed is able to throw it off a Nebraska player. Oklahoma with 12 on the shot clock.
Nice job of flipping the floor here. Gets a little bit of a rub, not a ton from Mast, but he's able to step behind that, and that's maybe only the second or third time there's been a breakdown in communication for Oklahoma on the defensive end of the floor, and Sanford made him pay.
As we said, Nebraska wanted to find shooters in the offseason, and it's already been reflected in the percentage of their points that have come from deep. Just about 40% of Nebraska's point total has come via the 3-ball. Here's Brown with a deep 3, and it just grazed the iron. Now a chance to get this lead under 10. Sejan from the elbow. Reed, no-look pass for Davis. Falls off, Mast the rebound. Numbers for Nebraska if they hurry.
Yep, they've been setting that up a long time.
Rink Mast for 3.
That's called playing with pace, okay? He didn't sprint. If he full-out sprints, that's not there. But you had 2 white jerseys down on the floor. Nebraska able to recognize it, and Mast played with the perfect pace to get the step on.
Offensive foul. Connor Sejan draws the charge.
Sejan took it there. He's outside the restricted area. And then in transition, this is called experience, okay? You see Mast come into your picture. If he rim runs, that's not there. That is a design sequence, and because they had the numbers advantage, Oklahoma wasn't able to set up and defend that 3-point line, in particular Mast.
Sanford short from 3. We showed you Porter Moser, Oklahoma's head coach. He's not wearing a jacket anymore. It ended up on the ground after that offensive foul was called on his player, Darion Reed. I'm not sure if we'll see it again, Sean. Brown draws the foul. It's on Jacobson of Nebraska, his first.
And Brown, so far during his time in Norman, about as close to automatic as you're going to find. Came into this ball game 12 of 13, 92% on the year.
And he was pretty darn close to automatic last year with St. Joseph's, a program record for St. Joe's with an 89.7% free throw percentage last year. He was first team all A-10.
And his first year in Philadelphia was a member of the all-rookie team for the Atlantic 10.
Brown's stepdad is assistant coach Justin Scott.
Kai Rogers just checked into the ball game. If you're Nebraska, especially since he's fresh into the ball game, if he has the assignment on Rink Mast, let's see if Nebraska tries to utilize the experience of Mast with the recent checking in of Kai Rogers.
Rogers is a true freshman. He's a big dude at 6'10", 250. Guarding Mast now. Sanford. Double teamed, hangs on. On the cut, Hoiberg underneath, tap dancing. Five to shoot now. Sanford gets it to go.
Nicely done, and well done by Nebraska as well. When he started that drive, you saw the red jerseys vacate. That took away the weak side help because they're worried about the dribble drive and the kick out. Sanford able to recognize that on the fly.
What a half for Bryce Sanford, 18 points. Oklahoma playing for the final possession of the half. This is Pack, lost it. 1 second, Jacobson. Sanford didn't get the shot away. Jacobson should have taken it. You don't blame him for offloading to Sanford with the first half he had.
What an exciting first half. Oklahoma locked in defensively to start this ball game, taking away the three. But those shot fakes and the ability to get to the rim allowed Nebraska to climb back into this. It's going to be an exciting second 20 minutes.
Nebraska gets the Oklahoma lead to 7. It's 51-44 at the break. After this break, we'll send it to our Chicago studios for the State Farm halftime report. Stick around. Good one, Erie and Sioux Falls. Number 2 in the 189th all-time meeting between Oklahoma and Nebraska. First meeting 1921. It was long before you were around, my friend.
Thank you.
Yes, Sean Morris and Chris Foster. What were your first half impressions?
Well, Oklahoma came out and I thought really did a nice job of establishing a defensive tone, taking away the three-point shooting of Nebraska. The Cornhuskers came in knocking down 11 per ball game. And then from Oklahoma's standpoint offensively, where they've really excelled this year is outscoring their opposition from the foul line. They make 16 free throws a ball game, doubling up the opposition. So far that's held. The Sooners 10 of 11 from the line versus 6 of 8 from the line for the Cornhuskers. So if you are Oklahoma, you have to feel very good about where you are after the first 20 minutes.
And that's a bucket for Rink Mast. Goaltending called against Oklahoma, and Nebraska strikes first 10 seconds into the half. Mast into double figures. It's the second goaltend we've had today. Crowd stands wearing Nebraska crimson. Tips.
Good active hands by Lawrence, but that play was made possible because Mast moved his feet. He took away the drive, showed himself. That forced the ball handler to give it up, and Lawrence with the active hands knocks it out.
Brown pulls the trigger.
Man. Shot clock getting under 4, came under control, did not get sped up in that situation. He has a complete offensive game, does Brown.
Jamarcus Lawrence back on the floor to start the second half for Nebraska. Battled foul trouble early in the first. But Tingel, it falls off. Rebound tip to Mast. Here's Sanford. Rebound Reed.
That's a tough shot for Sanford because I don't think his feet were under him. Looked like one of those feet was kind of slipping away toward the rim, but not able to get his usual lift.
Tingel blankets Reed, air ball. Lawrence, in his second stint with Nebraska, finds Tingel for 3.
And there's the transition 3 that was an area of concern for Oklahoma coming into this ball game. It had essentially been a non-factor, but we saw Mast trailing the play toward the end of the first half there. Tingel, they had the numbers advantage. They're able to find him on the far side.
Tingel was 1 for 7 from three-point range before that make, and a nifty reverse for Tay Davis. Lawrence throws it up, and Mast wasn't looking. Wires crossed there. McGee throws it to Reed. Brown for Pack. In and out. Mast the rebound.
Good ball movement, however, by Oklahoma in the half court.
Sooners were in control of the rebound game in the first half. As Lawrence misses the three, they were +8 on Nebraska in the first half.
That's something that Coach Porter Moser talked about extensively in their shoot-around. We have to win the battle on the boards.
That was what was laid bare in the loss to Gonzaga. It was also a persistent problem for Oklahoma in the SEC last year. They felt they lacked the size to truly hang in that conference. Brown for three. They've got some shooters.
If you're Oklahoma, you know what Brown can do for you. Get buckets.
Get buckets. He's got 15. He's surpassed Nigel Pack for the team lead.
Now there's the fill behind. Better pass, that's a made three. Because the pass was down at his ankles, a well-designed play, but Mast had to go all the way down to his shoe tops to get it.
What a play by Sam Hoiberg to save the ball on the end line. Lawrence misses the reverse. He was hung in the air, got bumped by McGee. This is Pack, throws it up, and it's tipped and intercepted by Sanford. A track meet now. Lawrence lays it in. Lawrence was scoreless in the first half. Nebraska got it down to 4 in the second half. Oklahoma has it back to 7. Davis drops it in.
Really well done by Davis, because Mast came over, did what you're supposed to do inside that restricted area, maintain verticality. Nice conversion by Davis. Chris, transition baskets have been few and far between for the Cornhuskers as they're trying to climb back in. Lawrence, who struggled with foul trouble in the first half, getting going here, but they're going to need more of this. Come on.
So we'll see if there's any kind of long-range drama like that from the Pentagon tomorrow. Apologies to our stage manager, Glenn Sisk, avid Creighton Blue Jays fan who had to watch that highlight back again. He'll be all right. Cale Jacobson just turned it over. Strange play. Forsythe for Brown on the wing. And the alley-oop knocked away by Buchtengel. Jacobson pounces on it. Mast. Lawrence.
Good job by Forsythe to moving his feet. Now, he did get called for the foul, but boy, I tell you, he's given them some quality minutes on both ends. Pretty good closeout. Then he didn't square up. If he squares up and doesn't have his momentum kind of leaning him into the ball handler, that might have been a play on.
It's number 2 on Forsythe. Sanford gathers his own miss and dribbles it out.
You got to get to Mast. I mean,
they do.
Too late.
Reed joins the double team and Mast is fouled. And if that's on Forsythe, that's his third. It is.
I mean, one dribble and you've got him. Because Forsythe was the loneliest guy in America there until the double team came over, and then once Mast is able to kind of get his hips by him, Forsythe had no choice but to give the foul.
Mast rattles in the free throw. Now 12 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal for the do-everything center. Atak checks back in, number 22. It's scarlet and cream, official colors for Nebraska versus crimson and cream for Oklahoma, and they leave Forsythe in for Oklahoma with 3 fouls. Brown underneath. Pack, shot fake, step back, bottoms. Pack's first points of the half. He's up to 16 for the game. The lead back to double figures.
Nice.
A Utengel.
Nice unselfish play by Sanford. They get the ball to him. They're trying to take away the three-point shot. He doesn't let the ball stick. He led Utengel right to the rim.
Season high 13 for Bear Cave Utengel. Forsythe left it short, gathers his own miss. Tipped, taken, Sanford leaked out to Jacobson.
Smart play by Jacobson.
Jamarcus Lawrence. Got it! And the crowd back into this thing. Lead cut to 5. Koala Talk misses the 3. Chance to get really close here for Nebraska. Lawrence. Another one. Nebraska has surged and made it a 2-point game.
With Jamarcus Lawrence held in check here, he's the pass that leads to the pass to Utengel, and then Lawrence scoreless in the first half. You wouldn't know it by this. Now puts him north of 50% from 3 on the year. We've got to. That win contributes to the 93% winning percentage the Big Ten Conference has enjoyed thus far in the early part of the season.
That is incredible. Over 93% nearly 2 weeks into the season. Michigan State will play Kentucky at Madison Square Garden next week. That's the next Big Ten SEC showdown. Hope it's as good as this one. Nebraska and Oklahoma. 90 years in the same conference. Xavier Brown misses the 3. This is just their second meeting in the last 14 years since Nebraska departed the Big 12 in 2011. Jacobson and 1. We are tied.
Nice hesitation, but a rare breakdown defensively by Oklahoma in this regard. They completely forget Jacobson's a left-handed dominant player. They don't take away his left hand. They let him get to his strong hand, and the hesitation gives him a chance for an and 1.
Jacobson had a breakout postseason in Las Vegas at the college basketball crown. Fred Hoiberg thought he should have been named to the all-tournament team. It's plays like that as he gives Nebraska the lead with the made free throw. Huskers' first lead of the game. How does Oklahoma respond?
I want to get a shot by Pat.
Davis draws the foul.
How about Davis doing a really good job of not panicking with the double team, and then he does what you're supposed to do. He steps through aggressively, and then low man wins. Look, they're trying to double team, step through. You split the double team, a chance to shoot a couple here, and Tay Davis has been around. Had a really nice season a year ago at Notre Dame, played at Seton Hall prior to that, and so far earlier in his Sooner career, averaging a double-double.
Yeah, great start for Davis, who earns a trip to the free throw line after the foul on Sanford. Second on Sanford. Davis, 11.7 points, 10.3 rebounds per game through his first 3 with Oklahoma.
We mentioned it earlier, Chris, of those 10 rebounds per ball game coming in, 6 were on the offensive window. He had 11 offensive rebounds last time out for the Sooners.
That's extraordinary. Most in at least 30 years in OU history. Off the rim, the rebound snapped down by Jacobson, and we are tied at 64. Sanford around Reed. He's going to the free throw line.
Excellent job by Sanford of understanding, Chris, how they're defending him. I mean, they are doing everything they can to get over the top and be there on the catch. And rather than panic, you rip through. This is why you have to have the ability to finish with either hand. If he tries to go with his strong hand, at best he's going to shoot 2 foul shots. Because he can convert around the rim with either hand, he has a chance for the traditional three-point play.
His first points of the half, now at the 20-point mark already for the second time this season. 21 for Sanford. That is just one off his career high. McGee kick out, Reed kick out, Brown 3-ball.
Man, woo! I want that guy on my team because he can flat out score and nothing rattles him.
You asked the question, what can Brown do for you? And Jamarcus Lawrence provides an answer.
And how about Lawrence? Scoreless in the first half, 10 here so far in the second stanza for Nebraska.
To go along with 3 assists. Blocking foul called on Nebraska. It's on Jamarcus Lawrence. That's his 3rd. Intensity ratcheted up as Nebraska has made it a ball game here in the second half. Huskers by 2. They led by 7 at the start of the second half, and now the Huskers lead 69-67. Bryce Sanford with a game-high 21 points to lead Nebraska. It is Oklahoma ball out of the timeout. Xavier Brown gets it in.
And you have to be cognizant of Brown being the trigger man, that he's going to get the ball back.
Brown's got 18. Forsythe guarded by Lawrence.
Good job by Lawrence. Really well done by Lawrence.
Pass at the feet of Davis, but he saves it and finds a talk off the top of the backboard. And it is a shot clock violation.
Take a look at this. Yeah, that's not going to take long. Because the only thing that matters, Chris, if you take a look at the top of your screen, once that red light goes on, that signals it's dead. The ball is still in his hand. I don't think this review is going to take very long.
Call the shot clock violation. Kelly Pfeiffer, Rob Rourke, Will Howard are our officials this evening.
And again, there are a lot of, and you can see not just on the stanchion up top and on the side, but it's the one up top, Chris. That's the only thing that really matters from an official standpoint. Once that red light goes off, it's dead. The ball is still clearly in his hand.
The basket is no good. Shot clock violation, ball in hand. Nebraska basketball.
Thank you, Kelly Pfeiffer. Brink Mast will get it in for Nebraska. These two teams first met in January of 1921. They were in the Missouri Valley Conference. Became charter members of the Big Six, which eventually became the Big 12. Now non-conference foes, Big Ten and SEC represented. And the foul there on Mo McGee.
And I like what Nebraska did there, Chris, because you have, some guys that can knock down threes out there with them. You spread the floor. You don't bring the defenders down there, and you let the experienced Mast kind of go to work down there on the block.
Sanford has been the man for Nebraska in this game. Throws it into the corner for Forsythe. Davis. Foul called. Count the bucket.
about the rebound by Tay Davis? I mean, he goes up in traffic. Watch, two hands. Boom, he does it. He gets, that's the second time we've seen an Oklahoma player not die on the blockout. He creates some space. And speaking of creating space, when you can knock down threes, as Bryce Sanford has done, it's going to create opportunities going to the rim. This has been a very entertaining and emotional game thus far. Nice answer by Oklahoma on the offensive window there by Tay Davis.
Fouls on Rink Mast, his first for Nebraska. Davis is an Indianapolis product. He's got a dozen. Jeff Wonkwo back into the game for Oklahoma. Sanford kick out. Mast. Rainbow three.
That was pretty basketball. Because Sanford could have tried to take it all the way. They don't close out in control. He turns the corner, and that allows Rink Mast to fill in behind.
Reed underneath, double teamed. Open man, Wonkwo for three. But Tingel the rebound.
Now they've got a mismatch down there. Brown is on Mast. They're going to have to run the double. He's going to score.
You called it, Sean. Mast has got 17. We're just barely halfway through the second half, and both teams in the 70s. Big night for the offense, and Cale Jacobson with the steal. Wow, what a play by Xavier Brown.
How about Brown not hanging his head, okay? If he hangs his head, that's a basket. But Mast able to just take Brown, and if they don't run the double, I thought Pack might come down there and try to double, getting it out of his hands. Mast playing with some really good offensive patience, and it's light out for Xavier Brown in that situation if the double team's not going to come.
Sanford throws it to Lawrence, and he draws the foul on Wonkwo. Number 2 on Wonkwo. How about Nebraska, Sean? They've made 10 of their last 11 shots, 4 of their last 5 three-point shots. I mean, not like they were stone cold in the first half. We were really talking about how well Oklahoma's defense played, but the Huskers have caught fire in the second half.
And they've done a much better job, I would say, after the first 6 or 7 minutes of this ball game, because the closeouts by Oklahoma have been phenomenal. But you have to respond by attacking those closeouts. I think Nebraska was kind of on their heels, at least initially offensively, with those aggressive closeouts and the communication. They've done a much better job over the last 13 to 14 minutes of clock time of attacking those closeouts and making Oklahoma scramble.
One more free throw for Jamarcus Lawrence, who was just 2 for 4 on the season at the free throw line coming in. Mast nearly put that one in. Nebraska very good at offensive rebounds on missed free throws specifically, and Oklahoma caught a break. Pack.
Man, he started the drive. He saw Mast show. So rather than challenge, he used that little fan dribble to get back and create just enough space. Brown and Pack are going to be a handful in the SEC.
Pack's got 18. Nebraska has slowed him down a little bit in the second half. Lawrence, that was a tough shot. Jacobson, the offensive rebound. Hoiberg, an air ball. And it's Oklahoma ball.
Nigel Pack, now watch. Looks like he may be able to go all the way, but he sees Mast showing. Then he does a really subtle thing. He gets his hip into Jacobson, which doesn't allow him to utilize his superior side to block it. Just a really smart play by Nigel Pack.
Efficient night for Nigel Pack, 7-12 shooting. talk around to Brown. 10 to shoot. Brown into the corner. A talk. Got the three.
And that was a tough shot because Jacobson was flying out at it.
Talk shooting 36% from three coming in. He's got a couple of those tonight. Mast. Guarded by Wonkwo. Mast.
Ooh. I mean, people could say basketball is not a contact sport all they want. They're dreaming because Mast put his shoulder right in the chest of Wonkwo.
6'10", 2.5, as you would say, Sean. Pack for three. Oh, here comes Nigel Pack, 21. Another Indianapolis product on the roster for Oklahoma, along with Tay Davis. Jacobson for three.
Now, people at home may say that is a behind-the-back pass with a purpose. He's not going to be able to make a conventional pass, and not only did he make the proper pass behind the back, how about the backspin, which led Jacobson right into a shot?
These teams are trading bangers right now. Nigel Pack off the heel. Rebound pulled in by Hoiberg.
And a good block out by Lawrence made that possible for Hoiberg to get the rebound ultimately.
Lawrence. Bottoms. Timeout. Oklahoma. Rink Mast, the trigger man for so much of what Nebraska wants to do offensively.
Well, what he has shown tonight is what Nebraska was missing a season ago. His versatility put the shoulder right into the chest of Wonkwo and is able to score. But how about this pretty play? Jacobson says, I'll take all three of those here in Sioux Falls.
In non-conference games among Division I teams as well.
Well, they have done a nice job of answering the initial thrust of Oklahoma to start this ball game. None better than Jamarcus Lawrence. Chris, he was scoreless in the first half. You wouldn't know it by his performance here so far in the second 20 minutes. 14 points on 3 of 5 from behind the arc. Also to go 4 assists, 1 turnover, and that has been the story, or one of many stories for Nebraska so far. A 9-to-1 assist turnover ratio, that's pretty good. That's going to give you a chance anytime, especially against the team in Oklahoma to start this ball game, which we're really trying to set the tone on that end of the floor.
2 turnovers for Fred Hoiberg and the Huskers. That is remarkable. 6:31 to play. Nebraska with its largest lead of the night, 86-78 over the Sooners. Brown fadeaway.
Hey, man, that guy just gets hoops. And he scored that, and someone from Nebraska, I couldn't see, we were kind of straight line there, had a handful of his jersey.
Yeah.
Didn't stop him.
20 ball for Brown. His career high is 29, which he hit last season against Loyola Chicago.
Oh, man.
Rink Mast is the latest player in this game over 20 points. He's got 22. Make that 23. Pack, catch and shoot. And a foul on Nebraska.
And this is deep. And that was no doubt. Look at the backspin, the ability to elevate, and what that will free up, because you know that the defender is going to be talked to about, hey, you got to close out under control. A shot fake, then he can become a playmaker for others once he gets in the lane off a shot fake and drive.
Forsythe hooks it outside to Pack. Still shooting.
Man, I tell you what, that wasn't easy, because it was a good pass by Forsythe, but it wasn't in the proper place. Pack had to go off to his side to get it, but he got into the shooting pocket so quickly.
Jacobson draws the foul on Pack. That's Pack's third. Let's go back to that last bucket by Oklahoma.
lane. See, that's not easy because he had to go and then get that up into his shooting pocket very, very quickly. But a good look, weak side by Forsythe, who has given some quality minutes to Oklahoma so far this evening on both ends of the floor. That's the second time in this half that I just think Oklahoma forgot Jacobson's a left-handed player. They kind of gave him that wide berth to that strong hand.
Great point. Jacobson just 0 for 2 now at the free throw line on the season. But that's a Cale Jacobson stat line, 8 points, 4 rebounds. Still looking for his first made free throw of the season. He got his own miss, but couldn't put it in.
Mass kept it alive. Oklahoma very fortunate there.
The lead is 6 for Nebraska. Brown, kick out. Forsythe, Pack.
Oh, man. Mass came out not just one hand high, but 2.
Pack is just packing away the buckets in this game. He's got 27. There are 4 20-point scorers on the floor in this game. Foul on Oklahoma.
And Nigel Pack doesn't have the highest release point, okay?
No.
But watch this. I mean, that's a guy 6'10" coming at you. In many cases, the basket was a rumor to Pack.
He is 6 for 11 from three-point range. The Oklahoma foul was on Xavier Brown, his second. It puts Peyton Sanford at the free throw line. A career-high 24 points tonight for Price Sanford. Beg your pardon, called him by his older brother's name by mistake. Price Sanford with 25 now. Iowa's Mr. Basketball in 2023.
I like the 6 assists as well.
He's had a hand in a lot of points for Nebraska. Both teams have shot the lights out in this game, especially in the second half. Huskers 8 of 12 from deep in the second half. Oklahoma 7 of 15. Forsythe. Turnover, Nebraska ball. Sanford for Mast. Loose ball, Sanford jumps on it. Mast on the way, good! Brown the step back 3. In and out, Mast the rebound. Sanford accelerates. He's got 28.
And an excellent job of spacing the floor. And again, because Sanford has knocked down threes, that makes his ability, you have to contest the 3. If you don't do it under control, he can take it all the way.
Long rebound. Brown's got it. It's still in play. Nebraska ball. Nebraska closing in on the century mark. Tingel. And a foul on Wagee. His 4th.
Well, the 3-point shooting was an area of concern for Oklahoma coming in, especially in transition. Held in check, but it's picked up here in the second half off the scramble situation. And Chris, when you've got a mass like that, it's going to be smooth sailing. And ability of Nebraska to share the basketball. I mean, you've got 34 made field goals for the Cornhuskers, 20 coming via the assist, only 3 turnovers thus far against the team.